6:30, call the meeting to order. Ask clerk to take a roll.
Mordini.
Here.
Sarchet.
Here.
Lane.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I have no additions or corrections. I take a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second. Roll call.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2 is public comments. This time and place for any comments other than those that are in a public hearing. If you wish to speak, please come to the podium and state your name. Anyone in the audience who wishes to address council? Hearing none, seeing none, moving on to item 5, consent agenda. Take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 6, new business. Under new business action item 1, agreement for private development. This time to close a regular meeting and open public hearing on the proposed agreement for the private development with Freelage Investments LLC, Polk City Eye Care and Torres Team LLC. I'll ask the clerk when the notice was published.
July 14th.
Any written comments for or against?
No, sir.
I'll ask staff to provide a report.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a development agreement that will result in a TIF of $300,000. This is a different TIF in that this is actually based on new employment of 5.75 full-time equivalents. Further, this agreement has several, count that as 6, additional requirements that council has not seen before. There is insurance certificates that must be filed with the city from each of those firms that were just, that the mayor just said, Shane Torres Team, Polk City Eye Care, and Fraholic, which is both liability and workers' comp. Also, there is an annual certification that must be made on job creation. The 5.75 is the minimum number. The first certification of that is due by October 15th, 2018. If that is not filed, there will be no distribution of those tax funds. This is based on 8 years or $300,000, whichever comes first. There is requirement of timely payment of all property taxes that are involved here. This has an increased value of $1.3 million.
Thank you, Mr. Mahan. Anyone present who wishes to be heard for or against proposed agreement, private development? Hearing none or seeing none, I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item B, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-70, approving proposed agreement for private development with Freelage Investments LLC, Polk City Eye Care Incorporated, and Torres Team LLC. Take a motion.
So moved. Second.
Questions, discussion? Roll call, please.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 2, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-71, setting a public hearing on proposed agreement for private development with Deerhaven Land Company LLC on August 14th, 2017, as close to 7:30 as possible. 6:30, that's what I said. You heard me, right? You're just quick to that. I need a motion, sorry.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Lane.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 3, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-72, approving final revised development plans for Tournament Club Townhomes and plat of survey for parcel 2017-132.
This is rather unique. Jerry Oliver is here. He can probably walk you through it and quicker than I can. I think I'd stumble a little bit, but it's correcting some lot lines.
I'm Jerry Oliver. I'm a civil engineering consultant, 2486th Street in Des Moines, here on behalf of Matt Properties. This is in Tournament Club Townhomes. And the two units to the left and the right have been constructed. The unit in the middle is vacant. When the unit on lot 36 was constructed, for whatever reason, they extended their driveway in a straight line off of the garage. The previous development plan actually showed a curve in the driveway, which would have given more frontage for the vacant lot to have a driveway out to the street. So rather than reconfigure driveways that are already there, what is being proposed is that a small sliver, a rectangular sliver of ground would be added to lot 35, such that the unit could be rotated to the northwest slightly, so that the driveway could come straight out at an area that's pretty much beyond the frontage of lot 34 and beyond the frontage of lot 36. That little triangle looks like that, which would be added to lot 35. So what you have before you is a development plan amendment, which allows the unit to be rotated, which I think the benefit is also it provides more separation between the units, because originally the unit on lot 35 was to be built parallel to lot 34 with a separation of 10 feet. This gives a little more separation between the two units, obviously, and provides for a better driveway on lot 35. Planning and zoning reviewed this at their last meeting, unanimously recommended approval of the revised development plan and likewise the plat of survey, which creates the sliver of ground to be attached. There's also a lot tie agreement that ties a sliver to lot 35 that would be recorded along with the plat of survey, and I'd be happy to answer questions that council has.
Just to clarify, the primary changes to the vacant lot number 35 and 36. If I heard correctly at the P&Z meeting, the owner of lot 34 had some confusion, but his concerns were addressed. Is that?
Well, I think the person on lot 34 was one of the two neighbors that actually got this process started.
Okay.
And there was some discussion about trees. I know there is trees in the front yard, and if you look in your packet on the development plan, it does specify certain trees on the development. I believe one of the trees that's out front that could be disturbed is a what's being eaten?
Ash tree. Ash.
Thank you. Ash tree. And more than likely, another tree, an ornamental, might be disturbed. So I would expect that, seeing as how the development plan shows the landscaping on the approved plan, that any landscaping that was previously there would be restored in accordance with the development plan. I think that's the issues.
So let's ask, thank you first of all, how did we allow, it's what everybody wants to know, how did we allow a driveway to go in that was not correct, and why, and
Can't ask the person because they're no longer in business.
is that a building inspector type thing?
Yes, it is.
Is that,
It's not current.
So I think what you were asking is, how did we not catch that they did this? Not why that they did it. Why it was done.
well, yeah, I mean, why,
Yeah, I don't think he's catching that.
Okay, it was a different building inspector.
Count as a different firm.
And
no, I'm not
Yep.
directing that towards staff, why they didn't, because it wasn't, that's the building inspector's job, I believe. And so that's what I was alluding to.
Sounds like a very similar conversation to what we had here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That was my question too, which has nothing to do with you guys, but I just wanted to comment on the P&Z meeting. They asked a lot of questions as usual. One of the members had visited with neighbors out there. They seemed to be satisfied. The neighbor that was here, the biggest concern was that sliver of ground was being changed, and could they build on it? Which you answered quite adequately. Isn't that correct? Isn't
Yeah,
that
it
the way you
can be.
remember?
Yeah, it can be built on
Yeah.
the sliver of ground.
Yeah. And other than that, that was it, and the P&Z passed it unanimously. They thought that it was, had the other driveway been built at a curve, then this would require this one to be built at a curve also, and they thought this was a better plan and a better looking plan, with the consensus I got from the P&Z.
Yeah, just listening and watching the meeting without the map, I just wanted to make sure that what I was hearing was, that makes sense, as long as they're good with it, it makes sense to me.
Does that mean you're making a motion?
Yep, I'm gonna get the right number. So I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2017-72.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-73, approving site plan for City Laundering Company office and distribution warehouse. Chris, floor is yours.
Say similar to what was proposed earlier. I think site plan basically included work for both phase 1 and phase 2. Sorry, I don't have a larger plan here. The phase 1 portion was only development of the 5,400 square foot building. Most of the site work would have been conducted at the time besides paving. Right now, the owner is elected to move forward with the full 10,000 square foot building and basically move forward with the entire project and development. From difference between what was approved last time to this time is the addition of the paving as well as the building footprint.
He was screaming with excitement back here. Good plan. I just want to say I'm excited when I heard that you guys are going ahead with that second phase right off the bat. So I think that's the main word, is that that's a big improvement out there for us, and I'm excited about it. That's my main comment to that. Anybody have any questions or comments to this? Otherwise, I'll take a motion to get you guys moving ahead.
So moved.
Second.
Look at you jumping in right there. Roll call, please.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, consider motion to approve an additional 250 lineal feet extension of East Vista Lake Avenue 2017 extension project, bringing the total project to a total of 490 lineal feet, and authorize a supplemental agreement for additional engineering services for the extension with Snyder and Associates in the amount of $13,250. Before you on dais tonight was a letter from Knapp Properties. This is a result of a meeting that Mr. Mann and I had with Mr. Nugent and Bill Two here about 2-3 weeks ago, where we learned that there is a potential user and a hot project that is going to be most likely moving ahead that would spark our need to put an additional 250 feet of road out there. We looked at it, the additional cost, if I'm speaking out of turn, let me know, but I think the additional cost was estimated at about another $20,000 if we did it in 2 separate projects. So we wanted to look at it and see if we could do the 2 projects at the same time and what it would look like. So we asked Snyder and Associates to bring forth what the additional engineering services would be. Obviously, we still need to bid the project, and we would see what the numbers come in with at that point. We asked Knapp Properties and Mr. Nugent to put together this letter, which we received late last week. That's why it's on the dais here today, and which he did. Just as a follow-up, I had another meeting this afternoon and learned a little bit more that leads me to believe that this is moving along relatively quickly. And I think that this is a good move all the way around for several reasons, not only because we're going to need to do it, but obviously it increases our footprint out there a little bit farther. So, what did I miss?
It gets us closer to the 28 acres that we would like to make into a sports complex.
Yep.
Knapp has verbally agreed to extend that agreement. And
To echo that, so that agreement's up in 2018, and we did address that conversation with them, and we will be revisiting that, which there was just no reason to deal with that at this point in time when this is kind of more pressing. But we have every reason to believe that we'll extend the term of the 20.5 acre agreement soon. Questions, comments?
I think this is a lot easier decision now that's going somewhere.
The road.
Two pretty big projects in 1 year, I'll take it. Does that mean you're making a motion again?
Sure. Yeah, so moved.
Perfect, he moved it. All right, I'll take a second on that.
Not sure was good enough.
Sure, okay.
Second.
Awesome. Roll call, please.
DeVorak,
Yes.
Mordini, Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you, and as soon as we know more and we can give some more specifics, we'll definitely get that information out there. Item 6, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-74, approving change order number 1 in the amount of a negative $11,099.92 net decrease for the 2016 street repair project.
So moved.
Second.
Wow. Roll call, please.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
DeVorak.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-75, approving pay application number 3 in the amount of $40,849.39 for the 2016 street repair project.
Not so quick this
I
time.
know.
I know, that's true. I do the negative ones. I'm not.
Jeez.
So moved.
Wow.
Second.
Any discussion on that or roll call? Roll
Lane.
call.
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
DeVorak. Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 8, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-76, approving pay app 1 in the amount of $15,144.40 for the police station remodel.
So moved.
Second. So before, just a quick, are we relatively on pace budget-wise with this, where we're at here?
I don't know about budget-wise, honestly, that's a little more advanced than I would be able to give a good answer on. They're making a lot of progress over there. I think that, the physical progress you can see is, they'll have the sheetrock ending by the end of the week. The walls are all up, everything's reconfigured. From what I understand, the plumbing's all done, HVAC's installed. So, they're moving right along.
Other dicky ones,
Okay.
$200 or $300 ones.
So I apologize, I wouldn't want to say
No,
yes.
I
may not be a
will,
fair question to ask.
Gary can answer.
I will answer that question, Councilman, and there are several little change orders out there, $200 and $300 ones that we're working through. Some of them deal with lock changes and stupid little things that you always miss a few things, but there's been nothing large, and through that I would say that we are within the line items and the budget for this at this time.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, that building wasn't built exactly as they assumed it was. They ran into a support beam where there shouldn't have been one. And, like Mr. Mahana said, it was a couple $100 or $300 change order, just things that they couldn't have predicted.
And that's fine. I just given the way this was let out, I want to pay special attention to those, so.
Definitely know where your concerns lie.
He seconded. Roll call, please.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
DeVorak.
Yes.
Mordini.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 9, consider motion to approve third reading of ordinance 2017-800, amending Chapter 55, Animal Protection and Control, Section 55.17, impounding costs, and amending Chapter 56, Cat and Dog Licenses, Section 56.01, annual license required. Last time, motion please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
DeVorak. Mordini.
Okay. Motion carries. Item 10, Des Moines Area Regional Transit. Item A, we were supposed to have somebody here from DART tonight regarding the updated 2080 agreement reflected the recommended governance changes. So we will move on past A and go to B. Consider motion to approve a resolution 2017-77, adopting the substituted and restated 2080 agreement. I'll let Mr. Mahana speak to this because I know we've got some work that went behind that.
You see a resolution in front of you that approves this restated 2080 agreement. What is also part of this resolution is a whereas that refers back to Resolution 2016-12, which was passed and approved on November 28, 2016, whereas Polk City provided proper notice of its withdrawal from DART effective June 30th, 2018. As you get to the resolved areas, we go ahead and we approve the new 2080. The resolution goes on to say that the mayor and city clerk are hereby authorized to sign. But it also gives notice that the resolution 2016-12, as passed and approved the 28th day of November 2016, advising DART of the city withdrawal from DART with an effective date of June 30th, 2018, remains in full force and effect. That is actually part of the body of this resolution.
I think what else is important to note is that this is not affecting any sort of levy changes or anything as far as where we're at with them as a whole. All this is basically a result of the metro-wide survey that they've been doing over the course of the past several months, and basically bringing in this new governance body and the changes that went along with that. So, and I know Amy's reviewed it and made sure that we're still clear on all of this, and been back and forth on it a couple
advise
times.
their attorneys of that. So.
Yep. So anyway, this is a formality that we need to do. With that, I'd take a motion.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yep.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item C, consider motion to approve resolution 2017-78, approving representatives. I hear I'm taking one for the team. And I need an alternate to list on there. Anybody would like to be listed as an alternate, either that or I'm throwing a dart at a dartboard and one of you guys are going to get picked.
It's an 11-month term, so.
Yeah.
I would recommend that it's somebody who's not up for election this fall.
Oh, wow, look at this. Now I'm limiting it down to 3 people. Okay.
Well, if it,
No, I got it. No.
the
Yeah. I got what you're
The term
saying.
should not exceed
Okay.
our posted term.
I get it. No, I get what you're saying. So, we're going to pass said resolution tonight since my name is listed as the alternate, or since my name is listed as the primary, and then we'll deal with the alternate. How's that? Can we do that? I mean, this is a formality, so. Anyway, can I get a motion on C, please?
Motion to approve resolution 2017-78 with the alternate to be appointed at a later date.
Okay. Oh, I thought he was going to ask to have himself appointed.
I got kicked off a bus in 1960. I'm still mad about it.
Sounds to me like you need to be on the governance committee. Second. Roll call, please.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Mordini,
Yes.
Sarchet,
Yes.
Lane,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7, Mayor's Report. Nothing much to report other than a very successful festival. Some of us had a whole lot of fun, and I will say that I really enjoy the opportunity to get out and speak to everybody in the community. The group of people that put this thing on is second to none, and it's a shoestring group that does it. And I tell you what, it's amazing every year that somehow we pull it off. But thank you to all you guys for riding in the parade. Thank you for your constant support of this. It's sure nice to get out and see a whole lot of happy people in town. It's a great thing that we do, and I hear from so many families how much they appreciate it, and the fact that we're able to do it on the cheap to them is awesome. So anyway, that's all I have. I'll move on to Mr. Mordini.
I guess first off, I wanted to apologize. Apparently, a couple of us didn't get the memo about our shirts tonight, so sorry about that. That being set aside, I don't want to steal the thunder of the chief, but I did want to point out the upcoming National Night Out. I think that's a great deal that the city PD is participating in this year, and I think especially important for a smaller community, any for that matter, but definitely for a smaller community, I think that's a great thing for us to participate in and builds good camaraderie.
Agreed. Mr. Sargent.
Echo most of your sentiments on the festival, the parade notwithstanding, but it is 10 years is a good time to reflect on the festival and what we've added, and I think it's great that the arts group stepped up this year with the expanded tent and more vendors, and Cup Insurance stepped up with the car, but at the core of it is not changed, which is, as you mentioned, a bunch of free activities around the square and a hopefully not too hot day that most of the town can enjoy, and I think we accomplished that again collectively and served the community well. So I don't know if this is a great thing to bring up, but just to expand a little bit on the DART item that we passed, and I'm fine with passing it as we did, but I do find it interesting that the changes that they have in their governance structure were fundamental to how they operate, and to me the fact that they weren't here.
She's here. She's here. She just got here.
Okay.
I'm Carrie. Sorry, I was the meeting took I was in Bondurant right before that, and it took a little.
Oh, we can blame it on Bondurant. We like blaming it on Bondurant.
So I'll cede some of my time if you want to talk about what you did.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to.
that-
apologize.
Yeah, Gary was going to call on her under his report, so you're welcome to yield to him. You're welcome to yield to her.
Is that 2 or 3 out of the last couple meetings where I've stolen your thunder?
Yeah.
What else are you talking about?
Nothing. We will yield to you.
Okay, well, great. I apologize. I tried to get here just as fast as I possibly could. There's not enough Monday nights to
Exactly.
work through all of the communities in an expeditious manner. So I apologize for being a few minutes late.
I will let you know we did pass the resolution, so you're
Okay.
one step past all of that.
Okay, great. Well, I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to talk about the governance recommendations that you approved already this evening. The DART Commission approved a governance task force back in January of 2017, and that was a 12-member group with representatives from several of our member governments as well as community leaders. That facilitation was supported by the Community Foundation of Greater Des Moines and Scott Racker, with the Robert D. and Billy Ray Center actually did the facilitation. And they met 5 times between February and April and had recommendations that centered around composition of the commission, voting, officers, committees, as well as transition matters. And the real main change in the governance that was put before you this evening was around representation, which allows one representative for each member community to serve as a DART commissioner, and that commissioner would be appointed by the respective mayor, and the representative must also be an elected official. The mayor can also appoint an alternate who does not have to be an elected official. As for voting, each member of the commission shall have 1 vote with the majority approval of a quorum. There is a 2/3 vote required for any time you change service, alter the fare schedule, approve the budget, or add a new participating community to DART. There is also the opportunity for a weighted vote, which would require a 3/4 vote to approve anything if a weighted vote is called. And the only time a weighted vote can be called is on matters of budget, funding, transit service levels, and commission composition, and that would require a 3/4 vote action. The weighted vote is calculated based on 1 vote per 25,000 in population and we will be using the MPO census information that is tabulated annually. As for committees, there's the executive committee, which is called for in the 2080 agreement. There is also a provision in the 2080 agreement that allows for standing committees because the board will be a board of 19. If they decide to want to have a more formalized committee structure, the 2080 does have a provision to allow for that. The officers of the commission are the chair, vice chair, secretary, treasurer. Each of the officers would be elected for a one-year term with the maximum number of 2 years in any one position. And it would be our hope that they would move through a progression of officership. So the secretary treasurer would become the vice chair and the vice chair would become the chair. There was also a provision added in the agreement that after 2 years from the effective date that the governance structure would be revisited to ensure that it's working for everyone. We also updated the property tax formula to ensure that it reflected today's practice. And so that is the main bulk of the changes that were made in the agreement. The commission approved the recommendations on June 6th. We have been working over the last 8 weeks to get the agreement approved by all 19 member governments. You will be year number 15 this evening. We hope to have an orientation workshop for the commissioners, given that only probably 3 or 4 of the current commissioners will transition to the new structure. And the first meeting of the new commission, reconstituted commission, would be on October 3rd. So with that, I can answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, so being roughly a third of the way through our 18-month period, do you see any impact to changes specific to Polk City in between now and then?
The withdrawal process did not change at all as part of the agreement. It would really, in relationship to service or how Polk City is served by DART, I think that will become a discussion opportunity for the new board, and if there's changes that Polk City would like to see made, that there's going to be ample opportunity for us to work through that.
All due respect, I think we voiced those concerns previously. If I can infer some of the changes to spread around the decision-making and less centralized, and I would think that would benefit us. And so I'm just trying to, how does, and we're not 25,000, so it's not as simple as one representative, but how, I guess, so that any changes still present input and we'll get back to you approach, it sounds like.
I guess when we met with the mayor and Gary the last time, there wasn't anything, I guess, and maybe it was my misunderstanding, there wasn't anything specific to service that Polk City was looking for specific from a major change standpoint. And maybe I'm just misinterpreted what our discussion was. But if there is something, we'd be more than happy to look at it. I think based on what I understood, it was what you're paying versus kind of the level of ridership that you're seeing. And the commission did freeze the property tax levy for the small communities in an effort to try and address some of those concerns last November or December. But I guess if there's other things that I'd be more than happy to take those back and work to address them.
Well, I guess you are right. It is cost versus the ridership, but we've never heard what the ridership is. So if there was a new plan to either have something that is tracked or in some way, I guess there's no value proposition for us. If we can't even identify how many people are using this 1 day a week on call for a fee service, what constitutes the $120,000-ish that we're putting in to the overall group, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it doesn't seem like that's changed.
Well, we did provide some ridership numbers when we met. I didn't bring those with me today, but I can re-pull those back out if that would be helpful. There is limited ridership in Polk City. I mean, I can't argue that fact. I think part of it is just thinking about kind of the long-term need, and when Polk City grows to a point where more express service or those sorts of things make sense. It's just kind of weighing through that for yourselves.
I guess, and to kind of piggyback, I believe I understand what Rob's saying. I think it's the same for almost all the small communities in the metro area. If you're not having direct service to Polk City, the idea to me of somebody driving to Ankeny or West Des Moines to get on a bus, and it just makes zero sense. And if DART is not going to somehow alter their schedule to make it beneficial for towns to subsidize Des Moines, which is what we're doing, call a spade, it just makes no financial sense for a community of our size to belong to that. And I would hope going forward that they'll address that or maybe take a look at it. I know it's not easy, I know it's not cheap, but for $125,000 a year, you can buy a vehicle and have a driver and get more service. And I think that's the thing for DART to overcome, to make us see what's the better option. And we may not be around next year, obviously, but I think at some point in time, that'll help DART win over more smaller communities, is looking at that. Not necessarily, as a couple have said in the paper, well, we've only lost X amount of percent. It didn't seem to be a big deal to DART when all these small communities dropped off. But I think if enough small communities, $100,000 pop, drop off, that's going to maybe make them think twice about whether they have a charging station for a car or more riders. Just a thought.
I appreciate the comments.
And I think what you guys are doing is, definitely a step in the right direction from, the conversations that we had in our meeting, as well as the interview that we had with your independent person who came out, and trying to ultimately figure out what it is going to look like, and whether or not Polk City's there, is yet to be seen, obviously, based on where we're at. But I think that, for DART as a whole, what they're doing, again, based on what we talked about and based on what we saw with the communication, I think this is a good step. So hopefully something good comes from it. So yeah, like I said, we did pass the resolutions earlier, and so we're good to go.
And I applaud you. You're in a tough position.
Yeah,
I can only
absolutely.
imagine going to these small communities. I mean, that'd be tough. But I do, like Jason said, I think this is a great first step. But I really, truly hope DART truly hears, if I can say that word in parentheses, what the small communities are saying, and it doesn't go unnoticed other than a vote. There's so much more to it that I think is just being missed completely.
Well, I think it's
If you want Metro buy-in, you have to have Metro service.
And part of the challenge for us is that we don't want to put something out there that's not going to be well utilized,
Sure.
and so. But I think there's opportunities as we look to the future to try and do some different things. But I'm hopeful that with the new governance structure, that all the voices of DART can be heard, and we can have a good discussion about what way the community wants to see DART move forward. So.
And I think the other important thing from where Polk City is, as I've stated several times before, and I'll state it again, we want to be involved in the metro. Us stepping out of this was not an easy conversation that we had, I'm glad to see that some of what happened, whether or not we were the catalyst or not, but led to some of these additional conversations being had, and the governance committee being formed, and see where it goes. And again, we didn't take it lightly, and we still don't. And I don't think there's a single person up here, and I've said it in quiet conversations and here as well, that we're all for public transportation. This is not against public transportation or anything along those lines. It's really is how does this work best for Polk City. And again, we've still got some time to figure some of that out, so we'll see how that all works. But again, thank you for coming out.
You're welcome.
Sorry, we were maybe even going a little quicker, but not quite that direct line from Von Grant to here. So
it's 38 minutes.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I apologize for being a little late.
No worries, you're good. Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Rob, I think you were finishing up.
It was finished, yes.
Are you finished? Excellent. Right on, Mr. Lane.
I also would like to echo the Great Four Seasons Festival, including the parade.
Including the parade.
I've heard lots of comments that it gets bigger and better every year, and one excited person said there were even floats,
There you
like a
go.
real parade.
Like a real parade.
And for the first time that I can remember, I heard several good jobs, keep up the good work from people that I didn't even know or were related to. So that was good. And heard one little girl ask her mom if that was Santa Claus.
And for what it's worth, I'll let you know, there was another gentleman over there who actually was taller than you. And
I ran into
Okay, yes, yeah. I would have loved
It
to
was a hell of
have
a collision.
Oh my goodness, he was, yeah. Actually, it was funny. He did say he walked over, just to totally digress, but he walked over when Batman, Superman, and I don't know, one of the other League of Heroes was there. He said he was talking to a bunch of, these guys were all talking to a bunch of kids. The kid stopped and went right to him and thought he was Santa Claus. And the League of Heroes guys felt a little offended because they quit talking to him. He ate that up. So anyway, Mr. Anderson.
P&Z meeting last Monday. There was a split vote on Whitetail Ridge, but commission all seemed eager to work with the developer and to make things happen. They just didn't want to deviate that much from the comprehensive plan. And I don't know where we're going from here, but they all said that they would entertain a special meeting if that's what it would take to keep things rolling.
You want to give an update to that at all?
If I may give a quick update to that. They have been working on a new design that takes into consideration the comments that was made by the P&Z. They're going to continue to work on that design, and most likely we'll have it in front of the P&Z in August. Very good.
That's all I have. Perfect. Mr. Dvorak.
First, I'd like to apologize for missing the last meeting, and actually Four Seasons Festival. I don't know who you have in my float, but they're in my car, but it doesn't matter.
Better looking at
Perfect. Also, I know I heard from a lot of people that were there, and just nothing negative. It just continues to be a positive impact on the community. Just a quick side note: I was reading through the packet and the specifics on the police department. I really continue to appreciate the activity reports and then specific activities, the transparency, I guess, that's kind of developing along with the public safety, because we know how important that is. And as we continue to get bigger, it's nice to just see the activity. We know it's happening, but it's quantifying it is also very refreshing as well. That's all I got.
Perfect. Council discussion. Mr. Mahan.
I only have one thing, Mr. Mayor, and that is the DOT has approved our rapid flashing lights for the bicycle/trail crossing at Southside Drive and Highway 415. We will be moving forward with those items here in the very near future.
And a follow-up, just to make sure you guys did get the traffic numbers that Mr. Mahan sent out. That you requested. Okay, perfect. All right, attorney's report.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Engineer's report.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Public Works.
I think at this time.
Wow. IT. What?
Nothing.
Just checking. Finance. I know. No, sorry. Fire department.
The only thing I have is the old ambulance that we sold. We were using it as a special operations vehicle. If you remember, the plan was we had hoped to get $8,000 out of that, and that's kind of what we needed to make that enclosed trailer all work. Between the ambulance actually brought $13,400 on the bid, so we came in way over what we were expecting to get there. Along with the radio equipment that was with it. So we brought in about $14,000, and we still have the trailer to sell. So long story short is we will have no problem funding the enclosed trailer, and will be at no cost.
Cool.
And how much were they offering for trade-in on that? 5
They
years
offered
ago?
us $10,000 for trade-in on that unit, in 2012.
So I'm assuming that when this new ambulance purchase comes
We'll
up.
probably use the bid process with GovDeals.
Do you auction on,
GovDeals.com. Yep. Worked out really well.
I know somebody in town who was interested in it, but he told me that was a little out of his price range. Not me. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Police department report?
I'm gonna stand up because I believe it's important. I want to talk about National Night Out real quick. I don't keep them here longer than necessary. We've never done National Night Out here as a police department in Polk City. This will be an inaugural year for it here. It's a nationwide event communities take part in throughout the United States. It started basically as a come out meet your police department, and there's all different types of events. Many communities, including us, have expanded, include the fire department as well. So I encourage everybody here to come to it. Anybody watching remotely to attend. We'll have the street blocked off out here in front of the police department. There'll be all kinds of free activities, things for the children to do, free food. The police department staff and fire department staff be there. We'll have our vehicles out for everybody to look at, and we'll have a bunch of different demonstrations. I think it'll be really a good opportunity. It started as a way for the community to meet its public safety professionals, and it continues to grow and do better each year. So we're excited to offer that. And then one other thing I just want to make council aware of, it doesn't require council approval. I wanted to give everybody an update. I've registered Lieutenant Sipker for the Northwestern Staff and Command School next spring. The reason I bring it up is because it does cause scheduling changes for him. So if he would be working with any of you during that time on any projects or anything like that, it'll be a 2-week on and then 2-week off process for the class. It's here in Des Moines. So we're lucky they scheduled it here again. That's all I had.
Perfect, thank you. Library report, nobody here. Neighborhood citizens group, nobody here. Take a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
7:17.
Give him a chance.